On the edge of known space, far from the bright core worlds, a small human colony called New Hwasong sat quietly on the planet Epsilon 7. The planet had wide green fields, soft blue skies, and rivers that sparkled under two small suns. About 2,000 people lived there. They grew rice and vegetables, raised animals, fixed machines, and built homes from local stone and wood. Life was simple and calm. Children played in the open fields. Adults worked hard, but smiled often. Jeon Kim taught at the colony school. She was 32, with warm brown eyes and long black hair she kept in a loose braid. Every day, she walked to the outdoor classroom under a tall shade tree. There she showed the children how to read old Earth books, count numbers, draw maps of stars, and care for plants. The kids loved her stories about tigers and whales, animals none of them had ever seen in real life. Her son, Min-sok, was 8. He had bright, curious eyes and black hair that always looked messy from running around. Min-sok liked chasing glowing bugs at night, climbing low hills to watch the sunset, and asking questions that never stopped. "Mom, why does the sky turn orange? Mom, are there monsters in space?" Jeon answered every question with patience. She hugged him tight when he fell asleep with dirt on his face. Other families lived much the same way. Taewoo Park was a strong mechanic. He repaired tractors and water pumps with quick hands and a soft laugh. His daughter Soojin was 10 and followed him everywhere, handing tools and learning names of machine parts. Ji-hoon Lee, Jeon's older brother, worked as an engineer. He stayed in his workshop most days, building small robots and checking the power grid. He talked little, but his eyes missed nothing. The people had left crowded, noisy Earth to come here. They wanted clean air, open land, and a safe place to raise children. They followed Galactic Council rules carefully. The Council was a huge group of many alien species. They made laws for peace across the stars. Humans were new and small in numbers, so they stayed polite and kept to themselves. One rule was known by every species in the Council. It was old and serious. No one joked about it in official meetings. The rule said, do not harm human children, never touch them with violence, never point weapons at them. Most aliens found it odd. Humans looked weak. They had no claws, no thick skin, no natural poison. Their bodies broke easily. Their ships moved slowly. Their soldiers carried small guns compared to others. So why protect their young so fiercely? In alien taverns and command rooms, people whispered old stories. Tales said that long ago, when someone hurt a human child, whole fleets vanished. Planets went silent, ships turned to dust. But many aliens laughed. Myths, they said. Humans cry over broken toys. They will not fight hard. One bright morning, the quiet ended. Dark shadows crossed the sky. Huge warships appeared without warning. They came from the Zorath Dominion, a strong race with hard black scales, sharp teeth, and cold red eyes. Their leader was Warlord Krelvax. He stood tall on his flagship bridge, scars covering his armor. He wanted the rare glowing minerals deep under Epsilon 7 ground. He did not ask, he ordered. His message reached the colony governor fast. This world now belongs to Zorath. Leave in 1 day, or we remove you. The governor answered calmly. We have a signed treaty. This planet is human. Please go. Krelvax made a low, rattling laugh. Treaties burn easily. Power lasts. He sent dropships. 20 heavy-armored Zorath soldiers landed near the central square. Their boots shook the ground. Their rifles glowed green. The humans gathered quickly. No one carried big weapons. Only a few hunting rifles, farming tools, and worried looks. Jeon stood with her class under the shade tree. The children drew flowers with colored pencils when the soldiers marched close. The lead soldier, a tall one with extra scars, pointed at the group. Take the small ones, he said in rough translator voice. They make good pressure. The soldiers moved like machines. They grabbed 5 children by the arms. Min-suk tried to run to his mother. A big scaled hand caught his shirt and lifted him high. He kicked hard and yelled, "Mom! Mom!" Ji-yeon felt ice in her stomach. She dropped her teaching board and ran forward. Other parents pushed through the crowd. Tae-woo shoved people aside to reach his daughter. Soo-min, the young nurse, ran behind him with wide eyes. The soldiers made a tight circle. They held the children firmly. One soldier pushed Min-suk down to his knees. The boy looked up at his mother. Tears filled his eyes. Ji-yeon stopped a few steps away. Her hands shook. "Please," she said softly, "they are only children. Let them go." From his ship, Krelvax watched the scene on a large screen. He smiled with sharp teeth. "Look, they beg already. Weak." The soldiers laughed, a deep, ugly sound. One aimed his plasma rifle at Min-suk's small chest. "Stay back, softskins, or the young burn first." Ji-yeon took a slow breath. Tears ran down her cheeks. "I will do anything you want. Just don't hurt him." The soldier tilted his scaled head. "Then tell your people to leave now." Ji-yeon looked at her son. Min-suk stared back, scared, but trying to be brave. She saw the same look on other children's faces. Something inside her changed. It was small at first, a spark, then heat, then fire. She looked at the soldier again. Her voice came out steady. "You should not have touched my son." The soldier laughed louder. "And what will you do, female? Cry harder." Ji-yeon did not speak again. She moved. She ran straight at the soldier holding Min-suk. No plan, no weapon, just need. The soldier raised his rifle to fire. Before the green bolt left the barrel, every human felt it. The same fire. Parents stepped forward. Teachers dropped books. Farmers gripped their tools tighter. The peaceful colony of New Hwasong was no longer peaceful. The air felt thick. The children cried louder. And the Zorath soldiers, for the first time, felt something strange. They felt watched. The first plasma bolt came fast. It hissed through the air and grazed Min-suk's upper arm. A thin line of red appeared on his skin. The boy screamed, a sharp, high sound that cut through everything. Min-suk dropped to the ground, clutching his arm. Tears streamed down his face. "Mom, it hurts." Ji-yeon felt the world narrow to one point. Her son on the dirt, bleeding. Something inside her broke open. Not fear, not sadness, rage. Pure, white-hot rage. She did not think. She moved. Ji-yeon charged straight at the soldier who fired. The Zorath warrior was over 7 feet tall, covered in black scales, holding a heavy plasma rifle. He raised the weapon again to finish the job. Ji-yeon reached him before he could pull the trigger a second time. She jumped. Her hands grabbed the barrel of the rifle. She pushed it upward with all her strength. The next shot went wild into the sky. The soldier snarled and tried to shake her off. Ji-yeon held on. She kicked at his knee joint, hard. Something cracked. The warrior stumbled. Around her the other humans exploded into motion. Tae-woo Park saw the soldier holding his daughter Soo-jin. The girl was crying, trying to twist free. Tae-woo ran forward like a bull. He lowered his shoulder and slammed into the soldier's chest. The impact knocked the air out of the Zorath. Tae-woo grabbed the rifle strap, yanked it hard, and pulled the weapon away. Then he swung it like a club. The butt cracked against the soldier's helmet. The alien fell. Soo-jin ran to her father. Tae-woo pushed her behind him. "Stay low," he shouted. Then he turned back to the fight. Other parents did the same. A mother named Ha-eun grabbed a garden hoe from the ground. She swung it at a soldier's legs. The blade bit into scales. The soldier roared in pain. Ha-eun did not stop. She swung again. A teenage boy named Sung-ho picked up rocks and threw them fast. One hit a soldier in the eye slit of his helmet. The alien staggered. Sung-ho ran up, jumped, and kicked the soldier in the throat. The Zorath choked and dropped. Ji-hoon Lee, Jion's brother had been in his workshop when the dropships landed. He heard the screams and ran out. He carried a heavy wrench in his hand. When he saw Minsuk bleeding and Jion fighting, his face went cold. He did not shout. He did not hesitate. Ji-hoon walked straight into the circle of soldiers. One turned to face him. The alien raised his rifle. Ji-hoon moved faster. He grabbed the barrel with one hand, twisted, and drove the wrench into the soldier's elbow joint. Bone and metal crunched. The rifle fell. The soldier tried to hit Ji-hoon with a clawed fist. Ji-hoon ducked under it, stepped close, and drove his knee into the Zorath's midsection, right where the armor was thin. The alien doubled over. Ji-hoon brought the wrench down on the back of the neck. The soldier collapsed. More humans joined. Farmers with pitchforks, teachers with nothing but their hands. Even old Mr. Kim, who walked with a cane, picked up a broken chair leg and swung it at a soldier's knee. The Zorath soldiers were trained. They were strong. They had better weapons. But they had never seen this. Humans did not fight like soldiers. They fought like parents. They did not care about tactics or cover. They did not retreat. They came straight at the enemy, eyes wide, mouths open in silent screams, hands reaching for their children. One soldier fired into the crowd. A man fell, clutching his stomach. His wife screamed and kept running forward. She grabbed the soldier's arm, bit down hard on the scaled wrist, and would not let go until he dropped his weapon. Another soldier tried to back away. A group of children, freed now, threw dirt and small stones. The soldier slipped. A farmer tackled him from behind and pinned him down. Jion still fought the first soldier. He had thrown her off once. She landed hard, but rolled and stood again. Blood ran from a cut on her forehead. She spat it out and charged once more. This time she got under his guard. She drove her shoulder into his gut. The air rushed out of him. She grabbed his helmet straps and pulled his head down. Then she brought her knee up into his faceplate. The clear visor cracked. The soldier fell to one knee. Jion picked up Minsuk. The boy was shaking. His arm bled, but the wound was not deep. She held him tight against her chest. "Mom, I'm scared," he whispered. "I know, baby, I know. I've got you." She looked around. The fight was ending fast. The Zorath ground team, 20 strong, armed, armored, was breaking. Some lay still on the ground. Others ran toward their dropships. They shouted into their comms. "Command, the soft skins are insane. They fight like wild animals. Abort! Abort! They're killing us bare-handed." From the flagship, Krelvax watched the live feed. His red eyes narrowed. His claws dug into the arm of his chair. "Impossible," he growled. "They are weak, fragile." But the screen showed truth. A human woman dragged an injured child to safety while firing a stolen plasma rifle with shaking hands. A teenage girl threw a bottle of farm chemical that burst into bright flame when it hit a soldier's armor. A father carried 2 children at once while kicking another Zorath in the face. Krelvax slammed his fist on the console. "Pull them back. All units retreat." The dropships lifted off in a hurry. Engines roared. Dust swirled. The remaining soldiers scrambled aboard. Some left their wounded behind. One dropship tried to fire a last volley. Ji-hoon saw it coming. He ran to a parked tractor, jumped in, and drove it straight at the landing zone. The heavy machine crashed into the dropship's landing gear. Metal screamed. The ship tilted and crashed sideways. Flames burst from its engines. The other dropships fled upward. Silence fell over the colony square. Smoke rose from burning grass. Wounded people groaned. Children cried. Parents held their sons and daughters close. Jion sat on the ground with Min-seok in her lap. She tore a strip from her shirt and wrapped his arm. Her hands shook now that the fight was over. Min-seok looked up at her. "Mom, you were so brave." Jion kissed his forehead. "No, baby, you were brave. You didn't run away." Tae-woo walked over, carrying Soo-jin. His shirt was torn. Blood stained his knuckles. He looked at Jion. They're gone, he said quietly. For now. Ji-hoon joined them. His wrench was still in his hand, covered in dark blood. He looked at the sky where the dropships had vanished. They will come back, he said, with more. Ji-yeon nodded. She held Min-seok tighter. Let them come. Across the galaxy, the live feed from the Zorath soldiers had spread. Every council world saw it. Alien diplomats stared at screens in shock. A peaceful human colony, farmers and teachers, no army, no fleet. And yet they had broken a Zorath strike team in minutes. The old stories were not myths. The first rule was real, and the Galactic Council had just watched it get broken. In the command bunker under the colony hall, Ji-hoon opened a hidden panel. Inside were controls no one had touched in years. Switches, screens, a single red button. He looked at his sister. Ji-yeon met his eyes. She gave one small nod. Ji-hoon pressed the button. A quiet signal went out, tight beam, encrypted to hidden relays in deep space. The message was short. You broke the first rule. Now we answer. The drop ships vanished into the sky, leaving smoke and silence behind. New Hwasong looked different now. The central square had burn marks on the ground. Broken weapons lay scattered. A few bodies, mostly Zorath, stayed where they fell. The humans moved quickly. They carried their wounded to the clinic. They comforted crying children. They picked up pieces. Ji-yeon sat on a bench outside the school. Min-seok rested against her side. His arm was bandaged clean. The medic had given him something for the pain. He was sleepy, but kept his eyes open, watching his mother. "You okay, Mom?" he asked in a small voice. Ji-yeon stroked his hair. "I'm okay, now that you're safe." She looked across the square. Tae-woo helped carry an injured farmer inside. Soo-jin followed close, holding her father's hand. Ha-eun washed blood from her hands at a water pump. Her face looked hard, like stone. Ji-hoon walked over. His shirt had dark stains. He carried the wrench still, but now it hung loose at his side. "The signal went out," he said quietly. "They'll know soon." Ji-yeon nodded. She did not ask what they meant. She already knew. Years ago, when the colony first settled, Ji-hoon had built secret things. Hidden turrets in the hills, small drones stored in caves, long metal rods waiting in orbit. Simple, cheap, deadly. He called them just in case. No one laughed then. No one laughed now. In the colony hall, people gathered. The governor stood at the front. His voice shook a little. "We lost 7 today. More hurt bad. But the children are safe." A low sound came from the crowd. Anger mixed with relief. The governor looked at Ji-hoon. "What happens next?" Ji-hoon stepped forward. "The Zorath will come back. Bigger force. Maybe the whole fleet. They don't like to lose." Someone asked, "Can we fight them?" Ji-hoon looked around the room. Faces tired, but steady. "We don't have to fight like them," he said. "We just have to protect what's ours." He turned to a wall screen. He tapped it. A map appeared, Epsilon 7 and the space around it. Small red dots blinked in high orbit. "Those are ours," he said. "Kinetic rods, 20 of them, simple tungsten. Drop them from space. They hit like meteors. No explosion needed, just speed." People stared. A woman asked, "Why did we have those?" Ji-hoon answered plain, "Because the first rule exists for a reason, and someone might forget." No one argued. Outside, night came fast. The 2 suns dropped low. Stars filled the sky. Children slept in the bunkers now. Deep rooms under the school and hall. Parents took turns watching them. Others worked. Ji-yeon stayed with Min-seok until he fell asleep. Then she went up to the surface. She found Ji-hoon at the edge of the square, looking at the sky. "You think the council will stop them?" she asked. Ji-hoon shook his head. "The council talks. They make rules. They don't fight. Not really." He pointed to a bright point moving fast across the stars. "That's one of our relays." The message reached every major world by now. They all saw the feed. The children, the blood, the parents. Jian wrapped her arms around herself. The night air felt cold. "What did we become today?" she whispered. Ji-hoon looked at her. "What we always were, parents." Far across the galaxy, the Galactic Council Hall buzzed like a broken hive. The huge round chamber had seats for every species. Tall crystal walls. Floating screens. Today all screens showed the same thing, the fight on Epsilon 7. Over and over. The Zorath delegate stood tall. His scales shone under the lights. He spoke loud. "This is an outrage. The humans attacked our soldiers. They killed without cause." A Vexari elder, small insect-like, with many eyes, clicked in reply. "Your soldiers shot children. You broke the first rule. You caused this." The Zorath slammed a clawed fist on his table. "The first rule is superstition. Humans are nothing, weak, soft." A tall, feathered delegate from the Clythe Concord spoke calm. "We have recordings. The humans did not fire first. They had no guns at the start. They used hands, tools, anger." The room went quiet. An old Lorath, gray skin, long ears, stood slowly. "I remember the old wars," he said. "When the rule was made, 3 fleets gone, no trace, no bodies, just silence, after someone took human young." The Zorath laughed. "Old tales." The Lorath looked at him cold. "Old tales that still make us whisper." Screens flickered. New images came in. A Zorath fleet, 200 ships, left their home system, engines bright, course set for Epsilon 7. The council gasped. "They go to finish it," someone said. The Vexari elder turned to the human ambassador, a thin man who sat quiet in the back. "What will your people do?" the elder asked. His voice was soft. "We will defend our children." No more words. The ambassador sent his own message home. Short, clear, prepare. Back on Epsilon 7, dawn came gray. People worked fast. They moved children deeper into bunkers. They brought food, water, blankets. Ji-yeon helped Sumin pack medical kits. Sumin was young, only 22. She had steady hands and kind eyes. "You were amazing yesterday," Ji-yeon said. Sumin smiled small. "I just did what needed doing." Ji-yeon touched her arm. "We all did." In the fields, farmers turned harvesters into shields. They welded metal plates. They mounted old mining lasers on frames. Tae-woo drove a big truck. He carried crates of chemicals, stuff for crops that burned hot when mixed right. Kids too young for bunkers helped carry small things. They ran messages. They brought water to workers. Sung-ho, the teenage boy from yesterday, climbed a hill with binoculars. He watched the sky. Ji-hoon stayed in the command room under the hall. Screens glowed. He checked systems, power, drones, rods. A soft alarm sounded. "Incoming," he said. Everyone froze. Ji-hoon opened a channel. His voice went out across the colony, calm, clear. "They're coming. 200 ships. 8 hours until orbit. No panic, just nods." People finished what they were doing. Then they went to their posts. Ji-yeon walked to the bunker entrance. Min-seok waited there with other kids. She knelt. "Stay here. Listen to the teachers. I'll come back soon." Min-seok hugged her tight. "Promise?" "Promise." She kissed his forehead. Then she stood. She looked at the other mothers and fathers. They did not speak much. They just looked at each other. Then they walked out, to the surface, to the defenses, to whatever came next. Ji-hoon waited for her at the command door. "You don't have to fight," he said. Ji-yeon looked at him. "Yes," she said, "I do." She took a small pistol from the table. She checked it, loaded. Ji-hoon gave her a tight smile. Together then. They stepped outside. The sky stayed empty for now. But far above, the stars began to move. Dark shapes, many of them. The Zorath fleet arrived. The Zorath fleet filled the sky like a storm of black metal. 200 ships, big cruisers, fast destroyers, heavy carriers, moved into high orbit around Epsilon 7. Their engines glowed red against the dark. From the ground, they looked like angry stars that refused to blink. In the command bunker, Ji-hoon watched the screens. Red dots covered the map. Numbers scrolled fast. Shields up, weapons hot, landing craft ready. The Zorath meant to end this quick. No more small teams, no more demonstrations, full invasion. Ji-hoon spoke into the colony comms. His voice stayed calm. They are here. Hold your posts. Protect the children first. Everything else comes after. Above ground, people waited. Tae-woo stood behind a line of welded harvesters. Thick metal plates hid railguns made from mining drills. Soo-jin crouched next to him, ready to pass ammo. She looked scared, but her hands did not shake. Ji-yeon waited near the school bunker entrance. She held the small pistol tight. Other mothers and fathers stood with her, some with rifles, some with farm tools sharpened into spears. They did not talk much, they watched the sky. The first move came fast. A Zorath cruiser fired. A bright green beam lanced down toward the colony center. It aimed to burn the hall and force surrender. Before the beam hit, something answered from orbit. One of the hidden tungsten rods released. It fell silent. No fire, no sound at first. Just a streak of silver falling faster than sound. It hit the cruiser, dead center. The ship folded like paper. Metal tore open. Fire bloomed inside. The cruiser broke in half. Pieces spun away. The green beam died mid-shot. A cheer rose from the ground. Short, fierce. More rods fell, one after another. They punched through shields like needles through cloth. 3 more big ships exploded in bright flashes. The Zorath formation broke apart. They started to scatter. Krell Vax roared on his flagship bridge. Launch all fighters. Bombard the surface. Find the launch sites. Swarm fighters poured out. Small, fast, deadly. They dove toward the planet like angry insects. Ji-hoon tapped another control. Drones up. From caves in the hills, hundreds of small drones rose. They looked like toys, simple frames, small engines, basic guns. But teenagers flew them from hidden screens. Sung-ho sat in one bunker, hands on controls, eyes bright. Got one, he said. His drone twisted, fired, and a Zorath fighter burst into flame. The sky turned into a wild dance. Drones against fighters. Sparks and explosions lit the dawn. Some drones died fast. Others danced between beams and kept firing. On the ground, railguns spoke. Deep booms rolled across the fields. Each shot sent a slug screaming up at near light speed. They hit ships in orbit. Armor cracked. Systems failed. One carrier listed sideways, leaking air and fire. Ji-yeon watched from her position. She saw a dropship break through the chaos and head straight for the colony. It aimed for the school. She ran forward. They're coming for the children. Other parrots followed. They spread out behind cover. The dropship landed hard in the square. Its ramp dropped. Zorath soldiers poured out. 50 this time, armored heavy. Ji-yeon fired first. Her pistol cracked. One soldier fell. Then Tae-woo's railgun team opened up. Slugs tore through the front line. Scales shattered. The soldiers pushed forward anyway. Hand-to-hand came fast. A Zorath charged Ji-yeon. She dodged his claw swipe and shot him in the knee. He dropped. She kicked his rifle away. She twisted. Drove her elbow into his throat slit. He choked. She broke free. Tae-woo fought like a machine. He used a metal bar now, swinging it hard. One soldier's helmet caved, another's arm snapped. Soo-min ran between fighters. She dragged a wounded man to cover. Bullets and plasma flew past her. She kept going. The soldiers reached the bunker door. One placed a charge. Ji-yeon saw it. She sprinted. She tackled the soldier. They rolled. The charge stayed on the door. Inside the bunker, Min-sok heard the noise. He pressed against the wall with other kids. Teachers held them close. Quiet, one whispered. Your parents are coming. Outside, Ji-yeon wrestled the soldier. He was stronger. His claws cut her shoulder. Blood ran. She did not stop. She grabbed a rock and smashed it against his visor. Again. Again. The visor broke. She hit until he stopped moving. The charge beeped faster. Ji-hoon's voice came over comms. Evacuate that sector. Ji-yeon stood. She saw the blinking charge. No time to run far. She picked up the dead soldier's plasma rifle. She aimed at the charge. She fired. The blast was small but bright. It threw her back. The door held, damaged but closed. The explosion took 3 more Zorath with it. Ji-yeon lay on the ground. Her ears rang. Blood covered her shirt. She pushed up slow. Min-seok's face appeared at a small window. Mom. She waved weak. I'm okay. Stay inside. The fight raged on. In orbit, the Zorath flagship turned to bombard again. Krell Vax stood on the bridge, claws tight. End this now. A human freighter, old, slow, used for grain, suddenly accelerated. It had no guns, no shields, just engines pushed past safe limits. It aimed straight for the flagship. Krell Vax laughed. Foolish. Shoot it down. Point defenses fired. Most missed. Some hit. The freighter kept coming, leaking air, on fire, but fast. It rammed the flagship midsection. The impact tore open decks. Then the freighter's cargo, antimatter cells for emergency power, detonated. A sun was born in orbit. The blast wave shredded nearby ships. The flagship vanished in white light. Shockwaves rolled across space. More Zorath vessels broke apart or spun out of control. The remaining fleet hesitated. Then they ran. One by one, drives flared. Ships jumped to hyperspace. Only 17 escaped. The sky cleared. Smoke rose from the surface. Fires burned in fields. Wreckage fell like slow rain, bits of metal glowing as they entered atmosphere. Ji-hoon stood in the bunker. Screens showed empty orbit. He exhaled long. It's over. People came up from cover. They looked at each other. Some cried. Some laughed. Most just stood quiet. Ji-yeon walked slow to the bunker door. It opened. Min-seok ran out. He hugged her legs hard. You're hurt, he said. Just scratches, she answered. She knelt, held him close. Tae-woo found Sujin. They held each other tight. Soo-min patched wounds. She sang soft songs to calm the youngest ones. Ji-hoon looked at the sky one last time. The drones mostly destroyed. The railguns silent. But the children were safe. That was enough. Word spread fast. Every council world saw the battle feeds. Ships exploding. A single freighter's last charge. Parents fighting bare-handed, again and again. The Zorath Dominion, once feared, now broken. The galaxy learned. Humans did not need big fleets or scary weapons. They needed only one thing threatened. Their young. And when that happened, nothing in the stars could stop them. Night fell again on Epsilon 7. Stars came out clean. Children slept. Parents watched over them. And the quiet colony waited for what came next. The fires still burned low in the fields when the first council ship appeared. It came alone. No fleet, no weapons showing. A sleek white diplomatic vessel with the council emblem on its side. It entered orbit slow and careful, like someone walking into a room full of sleeping lions. From the ground, people watched. Ji-hoon tracked it on the last working screen in the command bunker. The ship sent a message on open channel. This is Envoy Lyra Voss of the Galactic Council. We come in peace. We request landing permission to speak with your leaders. Ji-hoon looked at the others in the room. Tired faces, bandaged arms, eyes that had seen too much. Ji-en stood nearby. She held Min-seok's hand. The boy leaned against her leg, quiet now. Let them land, Ji-en said, but not near the children. Ji-hoon nodded. He sent the reply. Land in the open field east of the square. No weapons, no escort, one shuttle only. The council ship obeyed. A small shuttle detached and came down gentle. It touched grass far from any buildings. The ramp lowered slow. 3 figures stepped out. Envoy Lyra Voss was tall and thin, with pale blue skin and long silver hair. Next to her walked a short, many-eyed Vexari in formal robes. Behind them came a Lorath elder, gray and slow, leaning on a staff. They waited. No guards, no guns. Jihoon, Jien, Taewoo, and Sumin walked out to meet them. They carried no weapons either, but their eyes were hard. The envoy bowed low. "We come to offer our deepest apologies. What happened here should never have occurred." Jien looked at her. "Your apologies do not heal wounds." Lyra Voss lowered her head more. "We know. The Zorath acted without full council approval. But we failed to stop them. We failed to enforce our own rule." The Vexari clicked softly. "We saw the recordings. All of us. Every world. Your people fought for their young. No one questions that now." The Lorath elder spoke in a deep, slow voice. "The first rule was born from lessons we thought we had learned. We forgot. We paid in ships and lives. You paid in blood." Jian stepped forward 1 pace. Min-sok stayed close, peeking from behind her leg. "We did not want this war," she said. "We wanted quiet days, school, play, laughter. You took that away for a few hours, and we took your fleet apart in 1 day." Lyra Voss met her eyes. "We understand the cost now." She reached into her robe. Everyone tensed. But she pulled out only a small crystal tablet. She held it out. "Reparations," she said. "New medical technology. Advanced shields for your colony. Rights to 3 resource-rich systems nearby. Full trade access. And a permanent seat on the council, with veto power on matters involving your species." Taewoo crossed his arms. "You think things buy back dead fathers, injured children?" "No," the envoy answered. "Nothing buys that back. This is only to show we mean peace, real peace." Jihoon took the tablet. He looked at the offers. His face stayed blank. "We will read it," he said, "but first, you listen." He turned and pointed to the school in the distance. Children played now. Careful games near the doors. Some laughed. Some still cried when they remembered yesterday. "Those are ours," Jihoon said. "Every species has young, but none protect like we do. You made a rule because you feared what happens when someone forgets. Now you remember why." The Lorath elder nodded slow. "We remember." Jian looked at Min-sok. He stared at the aliens with big eyes. No fear now, just watching. She spoke again. "We accept your gifts, not because we need them, because maybe they help us raise our children safer. But hear this clear." She stepped closer. Her voice stayed soft, but cut like steel. "The first rule stands. Do not touch human children, ever. Not 1 hair, not 1 tear, not 1 scratch." She paused. "And now there is a second rule. Never forget what happens when the first one breaks." The envoy swallowed. "We will carve it into every archive, every ship, every law." The Vexari clicked agreement. "It will be taught to our young as truth, not myth." Jihoon handed the tablet back after scanning it once more. "Send the full terms to our comms. We will discuss. But know this, our answer will not change the rules." Lyra Voss bowed again. "We understand." They turned to leave. The Lorath elder stopped. He looked back at Jian. "Your son," he said. "He is brave, like his mother." Jian put her hand on Min-sok's head. "He is just a boy. That is enough." The aliens walked back to their shuttle. It lifted quiet and joined the mothership. Both left orbit slow. No rush, no threat. The colony stood silent for a long minute. Then life started again. People returned to fields. They cleared wreckage. They rebuilt walls. They planted new seeds where fire had burned. Jian took Min-sok to the shade tree near the school. The leaves were scorched, but still green in places. He drew pictures in the dirt. Ships exploding. People holding hands. "You were strong, Mom," he said. Jian smiled small. You were strong too. You didn't run. He looked up. Will they come back? Maybe, she said, but not to hurt us. Not anymore. Night came. Stars filled the sky again. No dark fleets, just quiet light. Ji-hoon sat on a hill alone. He looked at the empty orbit. The rods were gone. The drones were scrap, but the memory stayed. Taewoo found him. You okay? Ji-hoon nodded. Just thinking. About what? About how fast it all changed. One scream, one shot, and the galaxy learned. Taewoo sat beside him. They'll remember. They better. Down below, Sumin sang to a group of small children. Her voice carried soft on the wind. Parents listened too. Some closed their eyes. Some held each other. Jiyeon walked with Min-suk to their small house. Lights glowed warm inside. She opened the door. The smell of food, simple rice and soup, filled the air. She helped him wash his face. Bandaged arm, dirty knees, messy hair. He yawned big. Story? He asked. Jiyeon sat on his bed. Which one? The one about the tiger, he said. The one who protects her cubs. She smiled. She told the story slow. About the tiger in the forest. How she fought anything that came close. How she won every time. Min-suk fell asleep halfway through. His breathing became soft and even. Jiyeon stayed. The small rise and fall of his chest. The peaceful face. Outside, the colony healed. Wounds closed. Scars stayed. But life went on. Word spread farther than any fleet. Traders carried the tale. Diplomats whispered it in halls. Children on other worlds heard new bedtime stories, not of heroes with swords, but of quiet farmers who became unstoppable when their young cried. The galaxy changed a little, not because humans were the strongest, not because they had the biggest guns, but because they loved deeper than fear. And when that love turned to anger, stars themselves stepped aside. Jiyeon kissed Min-suk's forehead one last time. She stood at the window, looked at the stars. They shone calm. The children were safe, for now, and that was enough.